Christmas carols.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. I would like to announce that we had a executive session at 6:30 to discuss personnel and legal issues. Everybody please rise. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Kozar. Mr. Laser.
Here.
Mr. Lacasio.
Here.
Mrs. Maines. Here. Mr. Music.
Here.
Mr. Obardo. Mr. Palmer.
Here.
Dr. Zorch.
Here.
Mr. Hauser.
Here. I'd like to, at this opportunity, I'd like to give anyone in the audience who would like to stand up and speak of anything that's on the agenda for this evening. Just simply state your name and your address and begin to speak. Seeing no one, I'll move for acceptance of resolution number 104, approval of the minutes.
Second.
So a motion on the floor and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Solicitors report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I recommend that you move on resolution number 105, approve settlement of tax assessment appeal. We've discussed this on a number of occasions, and it was reported at the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I recommend that you move on resolution number 106, that we approve the Greater Latrobe School District Authority member, Keith Visconti, with a lot of thanks, and couldn't get anybody better. He's a fine person.
We have a second. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor or questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. Legislative report, Mrs. Clavin.
I'd just like to note about the tax code bill that I believe was partially approved today, or approved but with some glitches, as they noted, that the 529 accounts, which have always been set up by parents for students for college, the money is now going to be able to be used for students to pay parents to pay private school tuition during their K-12 years. AASA and all of the organizations, educational organizations at the state and at the national level are very much against this, because we believe that it really is supporting private school education using accounts that were truly designated for college educational costs. So just a note, I don't think it's been removed, it's still there, but it is a major concern.
Thank you, Mrs. Carter.
You're welcome.
Education planning, Mrs. Maines.
Thank you. I'll turn the first item of business over to Mr. Brunka to make the introduction.
Thank you. About 4 years ago, board members may remember that in executive session, I brought you an idea that was proposed to me by Jerry Succo. Jerry is a member of our local Rotary. In addition, he's also the incoming chairperson of the Greater Latrobe Laurel Valley Chamber of Commerce. The idea that he had proposed to me that summer was a backpack exchange program that was going to take place at LES. At the time, he said he would like to service around 30 students at LES and provide them with snacks that they could take home over the weekend to help maybe fill a need in that area. So I'm going to introduce Jerry, and he's going to talk to you about the backpack program as it stands today, 4 years later, and servicing 2 schools. So again, I would welcome Jerry, and I'm going to do my best to be on the white there.
Thank you.
Jerry brought a sample backpack that the kids would take home, and I'm going to show you the things that are inside. So,
first of all, thank you for having me. I'll try to be brief. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing the Latrobe Rotary to bring this program to Greater Latrobe School District. Back in 2005, in the fall, I had the idea to bring this program through the Rotary Club to the school district. I approached Mrs. Swigert, and she determined with the principals that LES had the biggest need. So that's where we started. As Mike said, we started with 34 kids that first January. We did it from January through May. So I believe it was at 16 or 17 weeks. And the idea was that the kids that were part of the program were the National School Lunch kids, and breakfast and lunch through the school, but maybe on the weekend they didn't have enough food to sustain themselves. So through the backpack program, we were able to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Friday evening, Saturday, and all day Sunday. As you can see, it's for the most part things that the kids can prepare themselves. Microwavable, it's all single serving, microwavable, 3 or 4 entrees, breakfast, cereal, oatmeal, snacks to go with those meals, and 4 drinks. It's hard to find really healthy things in small quantities like that, but we do the best we can, and we kind of switch it up. There's some staples, we kind of switch up some of the things. So you can see there's 19 items in that bag. $12 to $15 a week per child. And so we started with 34 for that period of time. And the Rotary Club actually self-funded at that point. But I knew if we were going to continue to do this, I was going to have to find other funding. So we started back up in the fall of 2015 for the entire school year, which was 28 weeks. The enrollment, so the guidance counselor, again, we don't know who the children are, there's no need to. The guidance counselor sent letters of interest to the parents, and then we ended up with 57 kids the second year, still at LES. And at that point I knew I needed to raise some money. I partnered with Giant Eagle and Latrobe, and they were able to discount the food. They actually gave me the Eagle's Nest as an area to use to pack the bags. I had volunteers help me. I was buying the food from Giant Eagle, and again, they discounted it and worked really well, and then they put a dry cleaner in there, and that didn't work anymore. So they put us in the back, and that worked for a while, but it just kind of felt in the way. And they were great. They never, tried to push us out or anything. It just kind of felt like we were in the way, and I needed more space with the 57 kids. So we left there after that year, and we started the next year, and I was able to add Bagley because I thought that was important too. So that third year, we were up, which would have been last school year, we were up to 105 kids, which was a whole different ballgame. So I reached out to local foundations, businesses in the area, individuals, and raised enough money to do it. I think the budget that year was maybe $40,000 to keep the program going. And I didn't want to do this for a year or two and have to stop it. So we found a way to raise the money. The local area's been really good. I don't know if there's anybody that's actually said no to me. I get checks in the mail just randomly. And some of you may have seen the article in the bulletin within the last couple of weeks. I've had probably 16 people either email me or call me and say, how do I send money? So that's a big help. So again, so we go into this year, and we're up to 125 kids. You can see that the need continues to grow, and I still feel that maybe we're just scratching the surface at this point. So I have a budget of $56,000 to keep this going, and I actually have the funds now to keep it, to sustain it through probably the middle of the spring. But it's always an issue to continue to raise money. But again, we'll find a way to do it. Because it's obviously hungry children can't perform to their capabilities, so we try to offset that through the program. So during last year it was 25 weeks. This year it's 30 weeks. So the way that it works is I've actually partnered now with the Giant Eagle in Ligonier because he's an independent Giant Eagle, and he's able to food by the case and discounted, as opposed to Giant Eagle and Latrobe, where I was buying off the shelf and they would discount it. So I have an inventory of food. Moved out of Giant Eagle. Ralph Scalise, who manages the Latrobe 30 Plaza, actually donated a storefront to me that was vacant, so I have my own operation set up. Everything's just really fallen into place. Not only that, but I've partnered with the ministerium in Latrobe, that each church sends volunteers on a monthly basis to help me pack the bags. So I buy the food, get it down to the storefront. I have volunteers come in and we lay it out on Tuesdays in an assembly line. The people from the church come in and bag it on Thursday. And I get it to the schools, on Wednesdays. I get it to the schools on Thursdays, and they distribute it Friday morning. And we repeat the process 30 weeks out of the year. So that's really how it works. The idea, again, is to sustain the program long term. So that's really our main emphasis at this point, is to find a way to keep it going. And at some point, I'd like to either include Mountain View. I know the nurses at Excella do something similar at Mountain View, even long-term in the Latrobe School District, which would be a major undertaking too. So the other, probably the most important part that I have in this is the Latrobe Foundation, because Rotary on the local level isn't a 501c3 organization. The foundation is nationally. So in order to make any contributions, have charitable designation, run all the checks through the Latrobe Foundation. Rotary has an account there, and as I need the money, I get it in to bring food in. So that's really how it works. I appreciate your time. Does anybody have any questions?
When I saw it in the paper,
Yeah.
and I saw you had mentioned several other participants in the program other than children. Who are some of the other people that are helping you guys out? I know it was Latrobe, Giant Eagle, Ralph.
Well, Latrobe Giant Eagle is now, it's Ligonier Giant Eagle now. The ministerium in Latrobe has volunteers. Ralph Scalise has donated space. Rotary helps me. But we raise all the money, we buy the food, we pack the bags, we deliver the bags. But people, even volunteers, just individuals call and say, hey, can I help you? Really, volunteers aren't the issue. I always have enough volunteers. I'm always chasing money, which is going to be the case.
Yeah.
So it's worked out. I've really been lucky. Everything's fallen into place. We're in a position where we can sustain it long term. And unfortunately, there's really a need for it.
It's a huge undertaking. I'm amazed how smooth the program works. All hear good things about it. I saw it in the paper. I just thought, man.
It's completely different than it started. The backpacks, I don't even use them anymore. I used to start with, you see they're just generic backpacks.
Right.
I initially bought 40 with A and B, so we'd fill the backpack, take it to the school,
Yeah.
and the next week take the B and take the empty A, so we'd rotate them. But some of the kids were apprehensive about a second backpack, so they were taking the food out of the backpack, putting it in their own. So now I've eliminated the backpacks and just use generic bags that they take and put it in their regular backpack and take it home. And I know at LES, I'm not sure how they do it at Bagley. LES just at the end of the day says Rotary students report to the office and they hand it to them and they're on their way. We try to keep it as low key as possible.
Yep.
And it's working. So, and the other thing I've done is, instead of took me a while, but I'm getting a little bit smarter. I actually just do have bins now where I put big bins on wheels that I take to the schools, and I have bins that I alternate. So we're touching the bags a lot less than we did initially. So it's
What time on Wednesdays do you pack them?
1:30 in the afternoon, just because that's when my volunteers. So my Rotary meets till 1, and then at 1:30 the volunteers, because they're mainly retired people that show up, and it's literally half an hour to do 120 bags because it's just an assembly line.
You need a supply chain management person now.
Let's get to that point.
Good
Yeah.
job. Thank you.
So,
Tell
all
us
right.
how to donate if we wish to do that.
So you can make a check payable to Latrobe Foundation and send it to P.O. Box 110 Latrobe. And in the memo, if you would just write Rotary Backpacks, so it gets to me.
I just want to say something, Jerry. On behalf of the school district, I want to thank you personally, and especially on behalf of the kids. Because
Yeah,
I
thank
know
you.
from what I hear from the kids and the parents, they really appreciate you.
Good.
And I just wanted to add one thing. Make sure you have 19 pieces when you go back to school. He might have ate some. I'm not sure. He looks hungry.
There were a couple items that did catch my eye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry's passion, obviously, keeps the program going and his vision to grow it. Our kids are really fortunate. I think that this is an example, very reflective of our community and the way they step up, identify a need, and then find a way to do it. So I said that little part there at the end so I could stuff some of these things in my pocket.
Okay, I will move for adoption of resolutions. I'm going to start with two resolutions, number 107 and 108. 107 being to approve a California University of Pennsylvania internship agreement, and 108 being to approve a Western Governors University student teaching letter of agreement. So moved.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
I also move for adoption of resolution number 109 to approve the Blairsville-Salzburg School District agreement with GLSD for a student for 2017-18 school year.
You have a second?
Second.
A motion on the floor and a second. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And the next curriculum committee meeting, and this is a change of dates, is Tuesday, January the 16th, 2018, at 5:30 p.m. here in the CFC. Previously, it was the 23rd, but it is the 16th now.
Thank you, Mrs. Moon.
Thank you.
Finance report, I'd like to bundle resolution number 110 and 111, which is the treasurer's report and the payment of bills.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I'll move to accept, move for acceptance of resolution number 112, which is approval of gifts, grants, and donations.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions? I would like to say that is listed. You can see that on your attachments. Seeing no questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Facilities and operation planning. I'll move to accept resolution number 113, which is awarding bids for groundwork, plow truck, and cargo van.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. And I'll move for acceptance of motion of resolution number 114, permission to advertise for supplies and equipment.
Second.
Motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. And our next facilities and operation planning meeting will be January 4th at 10 a.m. And the minutes from our previous meeting, December 7th, are also attachment. Student activities and recreation, Mrs. Main.
Thank you. I'll move for adoption of resolution number 115 to approve the Global Scholars Club.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Community Relations, Dr. Zorch.
Hang on, I'm having computer trouble here. Resolution 116 is to approve the Greater Latrobe School District Park and Recreation Commission Board Representative of Mr. Daniel Hennessy to serve a 3-year term. Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion?
I'll just comment. We did get 2 letters for that. Mr. Hennessy and Mr. Dick Vignati, who used to teach in the school district. And we thank them both. Dan Hennessy has been part of the commission for quite a while, I think 10 years, and originally was a Unity Township representative, but now is a school district representative. And I appreciate Mr. Vignati's interest, but Mr. Hennessy has been such a great asset to our board. With his background, he has been helping with the budget every year, gives his time, and is in charge. He pretty much chairs our financial section, and he has really been invaluable. So I would like to recommend Mr. Hennessy to the board for that. And thank Mr. Donati for his interest.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Next Parks and Rec meeting is Thursday, December 21st at 4:30 p.m. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up tonight. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. Look forward to seeing you all in the new year.
Thank you, Dr. Zorch. Intermediate unit, Mrs. Mays.
Yes, the next WIU committee meeting will not be held until Tuesday, January the 23rd, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the WIU boardroom.
Thank you, Mrs. Mays.
Thank you.
EWCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mr. Music.
Thank you. The EWCTC Joint Operating Committee meeting minutes are attached to the board's agenda. That's from December 6th. And the next EWCTC Joint Operating Committee meeting will be on Wednesday, January 24th, 2018 at 7 p.m. and that will be at the EWCTC.
Thank you, Mr. Music. Board Policy, PSBA Liaison, Mrs. Mays.
Thank you. I move for adoption of resolution number 117 to approve an adoption of a new board policy and changes to existing policies. And what we're looking at here, there are 3 listed. So,
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Technology, Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report this evening. However, our next meeting is Tuesday, February 20th, here at the CSC at 6 p.m. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Superintendent's recommendations.
I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 118, which is the approval of the resignations listed.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 119, which is the approval of Maria Emanuel as a learning support teacher at Step 1 Bachelor's and Brooke Hebring as a learning support teacher, Step 1 Master's.
Motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
And I'd like to introduce Maria. Stand up, Maria. And Brooke. Brooke's back there. So I want you to stay standing. These are our two newest employees that have just been approved. We welcome you, and we thank you for being here tonight. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 120, which is the approval of the 4 substitute teachers listed.
So moved.
Motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And I'd ask the board to move on resolution 121, which is the approval of the support personnel classified appointments.
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
And I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 122, which is the approval of support personnel supplemental appointments.
So moved.
We have a question or motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And just a note that this Thursday is our December Breakfast of Champions here in the CSC. If you're able to attend, please feel welcome. Also, just a note, the Finance Committee meeting will be held January 16th, which is the first meeting in January at 5 p.m. here at the CSC. Just wanted to note that Finance Committee meeting date. Our board meeting dates are listed. The first one is January 16th. Please note the third Tuesday because of the first Tuesday being so close to the first of the month. And our regular board meeting, the voting meeting, will be Tuesday, January 23rd. From the school district, we hope everyone has a very happy holiday season and a safe season. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. All right, at this time we'll begin hearing of visitors part 2. This is where anyone from the audience can come forward and express any of their concerns and simply state your name and address. Seeing no one, we're accepting resolution number 123 for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.